Now, eNCA reporter Govan Whittles has been covering the story for us. That's particularly the story around the Education Department and what they seek to achieve now. They want full-time classes, doing away with rotational learning. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Govan. So we understand the decision has been made to bring an end to rotational learning. How exactly does the department envision this working in the classrooms that we know, the conventional classrooms with COVID still around?
Well, they say that they'll break the classes up into what they call platoons when they realize that the number of learners in one class is exceeding what's advised. But for all intents and purposes, it's back to school as normal, with learners sitting right next to each other with no social distancing, but they will still be expected to wear masks. The basic education minister saying that it would be ideal for learners only to take off their masks for 5 to 15 minutes every 2 hours, encouraging educators to introduce mask breaks so that the learners could grab some fresh air, but saying that when they return to school, with the rotational learning stopping, it'll be up to the learners and the administrators at the school to ensure that the protocols that are still in place are followed, such as wearing a mask, sanitizing, and then as well not gathering in large groups at specific areas. The department says that the school should open up a number of access gates to ensure that the learners don't only come in and go out at one area, and that there should be learners or educators who should specifically try to reduce the number of infections and ensure that the learners aren't infecting each other. But then there are also the problems with infrastructure, the state of the schools that were damaged in the early days of the lockdown, the storm damage that was incurred by schools in KwaZulu-Natal and last year, and the other infrastructure problems related to pit latrines. Let's have a look at what the minister had to say about the infrastructure problems that plague them while they have to facilitate this full return to school.
The state of school infrastructure and the feasibility of accommodating all these learners under the current circumstances were raised. And amongst others, there is a question of the delivery of stationery and textbooks, especially in the Eastern Cape. But they also raised the question of overcrowding, which was a problem that we went to the COVID-19 with. And it was identified as an area that needs urgent and special attention. So we did assure our social partners that we are presently in talks with the National Treasury to resolve these matters, taking into consideration that these changes or these challenges, they came before COVID-19. So at the right time, we will provide feedback on the progress and the discussions that we are involved with the Minister of Finance and Cabinet on prioritizing this area of infrastructure and see if we can resolve this area and give it the necessary priority attention. The other matters that were raised also in these meetings included the question about teacher supply, replacing teachers that we had lost during COVID-19. So a number of issues were raised.
You know, Govan, just listening to the minister there, it seems like a clear case here of seeking to correct a problem but possibly creating another, because I still don't understand, with the infrastructure issue that you speak of, how then will they ensure the kids' safety in this respect?
Well, they'll ask the National Treasury for more money so that they can buy the stuff that is short at the schools, but also so that they can invest in providing sanitizer, ensure that the schools are equipped to try and maintain safety in terms of COVID, while also maintaining safety in terms of the infrastructure. So when you look at the state of the schools, many of them are dilapidated, but there are some schools which have come under attack and need money from the basic education departments to replace their computer labs, to put burglar bars on the windows where they've been broken down, and then to repair the state of their toilets, which are in bad condition. Right now, in short, the basic education minister saying there that they've gone to the Treasury, they're hoping to get more money. She's feeling confident about that, but at this point, they're not entirely sure whether or not they'll get it. They're saying that in order to eradicate pit latrines, they'll roll out a process which only culminates in 2023, and so for now, they'll manage the situation with what they have. But their main way to keep the learners safe, as well as the educators, is through vaccinations. And the minister saying that about 80% of educators across the country have been vaccinated, and now they're appealing to parents and educators learners and guardians of the learners to encourage the learners themselves to get vaccinated. Let's have a look at what she had to say.
What we also want to highlight at this meeting is the importance of making sure, and that's what we're going to be working on with teacher unions, we've agreed with parents' bodies, that we have to ensure that everybody, we had a very successful campaign, but we want everybody in the system to vaccinate. The sector, the discussions reflected on what we said is the mandate, not mandatory vaccination. There was a new concept of the mandate to vaccinate. So we do want everybody in the sector to vaccinate. We're encouraging our teachers to go for a booster, which is available in different health sites. We also discussed about the need to make sure that we encourage our young people to vaccinate, because we are told that of the 7.7 million qualifying learners, 1.2 has vaccinated. In the past 24 hours, 15,000 young people have vaccinated, but we call on parents and caregivers to encourage young people who qualify to go for vaccinations.